watching some football, but honest Munenga, you're watching football. Who's playing? Me, I'm not a soccer fan, unfortunately. I, it's rare that I watch football. It's rare. It's rare. Maybe when Zambia is playing as a national team, I watch football only as as a patriot. Only patriotism terms. Only when Zambia is playing crucial games do I sit and watch football. Otherwise, I'm not a football fan. I'm sorry for me. I was not supposed to go live. I was not supposed to go live. I've just I'm just failing to sleep. I fell to sleep. I'm supposed to be sleeping. It's actually 03 around here. But I've been awake. Sleep evades me. What am I looking for? I don't like it when the tea is not full. I like to see the tea full, the cup full. Yeah. So I shall run. You know, it's the end of the year. It's the end of the year, and usually for me, at the end of the year, I like to sit and kind of do a stock taking of my life. I go back where I started, you know. I usually make resolutions. I am that guy that makes resolutions and somehow share those resolutions. Sometimes I write them. I just find it that, in life, you must know where you are going. You must know where you are going. You must have an objective. You must have short-term objectives. You must have long-term objectives. You need to sit and reflect on your life. You need to sit and reflect on your life. Ask yourself, where am I going? Where am I going? Where do I want to be? What do I want to achieve in the short term and long term? What do I want to achieve? What do I want for my life? What do I want for my family? What do I want for my children? What do I want for my country? What do I want for my country? You need to ask yourselves these questions, especially around this time. And mostly for you young people, young people, you have got the whole life ahead of you. Don't just live it by accident. Don't live your life by accident. No, don't. Make deliberate actions. Make deliberate actions, meaning think through what you want and what you are doing. So I always do this. And then at the end of the year, like this time now, it's time to take stock. What have I achieved? What have I done? And these days, I'm just thinking, life, politics is not easy. Politics is not easy. Sometimes, you feel like, what will pamuliro so, as if you're on fire. And it could be insomnia. I can provide the psychotherapy, please. Early morning job. I need that. I need psychotherapy. I do need it, actually. And by the way, psychotherapy is not bad. It's not so negative like the way we stigmatize. We usually stigmatize mental issues. We stigmatize them. When somebody says, I'm going to see a psychiatric or I'm going to see a therapist, we think they are crazy, they are not normal and whatever. But it is something that is very important, which we should be, time and again, be doing. Talking to somebody is very, very important. I actually do that. I do have therapists that I go to, because sometimes things just overwhelm you. They really overwhelm you, and they can put you down. So, like this time around, I'm thinking about the politics. Muntu politics yalikaba ma politics yalikaba. Because one of the things about politics is that sometimes you are not even so sure where you're going. It's very difficult to really predict politics. It's very, very difficult. It's not so easy to really be comfortable to say, oh yeah, I know where I'm going, this is what I'm doing. It's not easy. Because sometimes the very thing that you think that, people will like this, and people will just say no. Where I find it very difficult myself is to balance what people want and your personal principles and beliefs. Personal principles and beliefs, and to some extent even desires, to synchronize what you believe in, your principles, what you desire, and the desires of the public, the principles or the beliefs of the public, to synchronize that. Yarikava. Because you are looking at things, to say things are supposed to be like this, and yet other people, they are looking at something in a different light. And no matter how much you try to convince them, no ways, Muntwand. No ways, they just don't listen, and they don't want to have it, And you and I will believe that, but this is good. The public will just say, no, not that. Not that. And sometimes you are divided. Uku, the other side, they are pulling this way. Uku, they are, mostly me, I find myself in the middle. Wasangat, per platform, on all my platform, because on all my platforms, I think I'm one of those people that carries, both sides of the coin of political views. So this side, they're telling you this. This side, they're telling you this. When you say something, this side becomes upset. No, how can you say that? You Mushani Nawali, you have got no principles. What? You speak from your stomach. What? This side, they get upset. This side, they are happy. Yeah. Now you are talking. Now you are a good politician. Now we'll follow you. Now you'll be president. ah. I tell you, it's very, very difficult. Very difficult. To tell you the truth, I really struggle with that. I struggle. I really struggle. When I take a position, I struggle with that. And you find that the position that you take, on both sides, I have people that I know on a personal level, people that I don't want to disappoint. And so you find that when you take a certain position, on both sides, there are people that you know on a personal level, and you don't want to disappoint them. So when you talk, those people, you find that some of them, they even go in your inbox. Some of them, they even call you. This, what? This side, no, you are doing very good. Now, that is very good. Now you are talking. Now to balance up that, very difficult. Very difficult. I'm looking at where I started in the year, this time around, this year, last year, when I was making resolutions, what I was thinking, what I was espousing for, and where I am today is different. It's different. Last year, politically, this time around, I was supporting Edgar Lungu, and we were talking, making resolutions. No, by next year, things will be like this. We'll do this. I'm closing the year almost on the opposite side. Last year, where I was on this side. And I'm just pouring out myself. and speaking, honestly, just as a human being, not as a politician, just as a human being. So last year, this time around, all the plans were on, how we are going to fight to dislodge Hakainde Hichilema. I'm just talking, not as a politician, just talking. And I don't know whichever way. And I'm doing this on camera simply because I'm tired of thinking alone. And I've realized, hey, kutiwa depressed. So kanja shama camera and intampo kusabaira. Like kind of getting it out of my system. So last year, kwali ama plan and we were thinking, okay, how are we going to fight Hakainde Hichilema? And dislodge Hakainde Hichilema. Those were the plans. And we were looking forward to, end of the year, in my plans, I was like, okay, I'll do this. Yeah. But I'm closing the year very determined that Hakainde Hichilema should stay in power. That's why I'm closing the year. Determined that Hakainde Hichilema should stay in power. But then you can ask, what happened? That's the plan that you had, to dislodge, to fight, to dislodge Hakainde Hichilema. But what happened? For me, what happened is the death of Edgar Lungu made a significant impact on me. The death of Edgar Lungu made a significant impact on me. But even before that, some of you who have been following me, you remember that before Edgar Lungu died, I had actually gone quiet. I had gone quiet because I was disappointed. I was disappointed with Edgar Lungu. And some of the people that are around Edgar Lungu, but mostly with Edgar Lungu. I will not pretend that by Edgar Lungu, when he was dying, everything was okay. No. It wasn't okay. It wasn't okay. So I was disappointed, number one, that Edgar Lungu could not restore PF, as a political party, as a unity political party. I was disappointed that Edgar Lungu could not unite PF. I saw PF going into extinction whilst Edgar Lungu was alive. Remember, there was that eligibility case, and before the eligibility case, I was insisting that, Edgar Lungu makes a decision on who should take over PF. Because from my perspective, I knew that Edgar Lungu would not run for 2026 general elections. I knew that Lungu would not run for 2026 general elections. Because there was a time, yes, when I was confident that Lungu will run for 2026. Lungu will run for 2026. Lungu will take over power from Hakainde Hichilema. But two things made me, or maybe three things made me to reverse on the Alebo de Rapport agenda. Three things. One, it was the financial capacity. When we withdrew Mundubire, when Edgar Lungu started saying, no, he wants to come back, and we decided to pull back Mundubire, mostly was one on because Lungu wanted to come back. Then secondly was the issue of resources. We said, look, from Mundubire's point of view, he said, well, if Lungu wants it, I cannot fight him. I cannot fight Lungu. I will let him run. And then secondly was the issue of resources. We thought that, no, Lungu has the resources. Lungu has the connections to look for resources. We need a lot of resources to run for presidency, because, my brothers and sisters, politics is about money. Politics is about money. Never you be cheated. Especially when you're talking about presidential level. You need money. You can never get power without money. You need money. You need resources. Without resources, you are cheating yourself. It is a juvenile thinking. Because some of you think to say, no, politics is about people. When people love you, people will vote for you. It's about votes. Far from it. It is not just the people's vote that makes somebody president. No, it is not just the people's vote. Even when people love you and they go and vote for you, you need to protect that vote. Because when people vote, they have to be somebody to count, and they have to be somebody to announce. Right there in that process, you can fail to ascend to power if money is not there. if money is not there, because right there, when people are voting, there must be people that are standing there to make sure that your votes are protected. There must be. And those people who are in the polling agents, just there, and I'm not even talking about strategies, because even strategies cost money. But I'm talking about, if you're talking about, no, people power, people vote for you, people vote for you. So I'm talking about, you have an opponent, a strong opponent, especially when you are in opposition. Yes, people love you. People, yeah, they have voted for you. There must be people to witness that people are voting for you and your votes are secured. Because when money is involved, people can vote for you, but the entire ballot box can be thrown away and be replaced with another one. It's very possible where money is involved. So there must be people, and those people need money. Then there must be people counting. Those people who count votes. Yes, the Electoral Commission is independent, but the Electoral Commission is made up by so many people. So many people. How many polling agents in Zambia? We have over 13,000 by now. We have over 13,000. With this delimitation coming, I think we will be talking about maybe 16,000 polling stations. 16,000 to 18,000 polling stations. And those 18,000 or 16,000, those are polling agents. We have got polling officers. Then you have got other people just at the polling station there. Just at the polling station. That process is not just vested in one person. Those polling officers, they have got interests. They have got their own interests. They have got their own political desires, preferences, So for them, those are the ones that are counting and coming out to announce. Partly, you need a lot of resources. So I laugh when people, people who have got a basic understanding of politics, when they say, people power. Hey, when people vote for you, we'll vote for you. Hey, we'll vote for you. It's not enough. Just the votes of the people is not enough to put you in power. It's not enough. Anyway, so getting back to the story, I just switched on these things. I don't think I even had a plan of what I'm going to say, but so just for you to win that election, you need resources. So anyway, what I was talking about is kuli balongo side na vena Mundubile. So we looked at Mundubile was loyal to Edgar Lungu. Edgar Lungu, Edgar Lungu wanted it. And then resources. So on these two issues, because Balungu wanted, and Mundubile did not have resources, we thought Edgar Lungu had resources. Mundubile backed down. And Walungu came forward. And you saw me jumping around. Hey, and some of you laugh at me. But Daddy, you are saying this, you are saying this. Look, when you're doing politics, you have to mean it. You have to mean it. It's a fight. You don't go into a war, you go in and you go all out. And I went out. And what happened? Of course, when you are shouting, you are making that noise and you are making an impact. When you are making an impact in public, two things come in. There will be those that will agree with you. There will be those that don't agree with you. And those that don't agree with you, depending on the powers that they have, they will fight you. Depending on the powers and the interests that they have, they'll fight you. So, whatever impact I was making with the Alebo de Rapport agenda, I attracted, of course, those that were happy and those that were not happy. And of course, in this instance, those in government were not happy. And they were doing politics. And I had now problems, Bakapokola, Shani, what, Kumakoti. And I went through all that difficult time for me. Very difficult time. Very, very difficult time. I went through that difficult time. I did not get the support that was sufficient from those that I was fighting for. Balungu. No, I didn't get it. And I'm speaking genuinely, not as Shani, some politics hapa. Nothing. I didn't. And when I didn't, at the end of the day, I ended up in exile. That's why I'm here. I'm in exile because, really, I would have ended up in jail. Ended up in jail not because I had committed a crime or I was malicious. No, it was all about politics. It was all about politics. And, you can't, especially, Ulea Kukoti, those people, some of you say, hey, no, this one defended you. Hey, this one defended you. I'm telling you, Nalesangwa Kukoti Kulianeka. I'm a lawyer, because lawyers, of course, they also need to be paid somehow. I mean, they run expenses, even going to court. They at least fewer. At least they need fewer. Just that basic, even if they're just representing you. And I'm telling you, some lawyers were representing me thinking, yeah, somebody will pay for this. And most of them were looking at Vaed Galungu. I don't know, to my knowledge, any lawyer that was paid by Vaed Galungu for representing me. I don't think so. I don't think there's any lawyer that got paid for representing me. And eventually, those lawyers started withdrawing. I ended up alone. At one point, those of you who remember very well, I even tried to represent myself. But it wasn't easy. It's not easy to represent yourself. It's not easy. The leverage that lawyers have in court, in the courtroom, the leverage and latitudes that lawyers have in the courtroom is different from somebody who is not a lawyer, especially when you're a politician fighting the government. It's not easy. And then on the other hand, some of you say, oh no, you would have been courageous and just stayed and, go to prison. If I had gone to prison, then what? What would have happened to my family? Anyway, that's how I ended up out here. When I ended up out here, I did share these things with the stakeholders of those who were shouting, Lungu, Lungu, Lungu. So I expressed myself. Some of them committed themselves, and some of them did help, which is why, they helped. Now, I'm talking about the disappointment, the issue. Don't lose the thought. I'm talking about the disappointment I had before Balungu died. So in the midst of all that, I was out here and I was telling Balungu, look, this situation and whatever. And I was hoping that Valungu would reunite PF. And we were trying, actually. I was talking to people that we were strategizing here and there. Even the issue of Mao Sampa. Mao Sampa going to see Valungu. I was one of those people that were in the background, talking to necessary people to say, we need to talk to Mao Sampa. We need to talk to Mao Sampa. We need to talk to Mao Sampa. And those people managed to talk to Mao Sampa, and they brought Mao Sampa to Edgar Lungu. Unfortunately, in that, I can tell you, I will not pull back. In that meeting, Mao Sampa and other people, they asked for money. They asked for compensation. They asked for money, Kuli Valungu, to say, look, we have gone this far. We have done all this, and we lost money. We lost money. And there are reasons. Mao Sampa, why Mao Sampa took away PF, it is because Mao Sampa felt that, they were playing him. Remember, he had paid 200,000 to be a presidential candidate, and then along the way, they suspended him and expelled him. That is why Mao Sampa took away PF. And he said, well, look, I lost money doing all this, lawyers, their legal bills and what. So you need to pay for this. And Valungu refused. Said, no, I cannot. Using his words, he says, what did he say? He said, I cannot reward somebody for betraying me. That is what Valungu said. I cannot pay somebody. I cannot reward somebody for betraying me. From my perspective, that was a mistake. And by then I was actually in Zambia, when these things were happening. I was like, we are playing politics here. And the money that was asked that time, the money that they were mentioning was 2 million. I said, if you look at what is at stake here, you would rather compromise with Mao's. And I suggested that maybe you suggest to give him something, not everything, maybe 1 million or something, especially Ama lawyers, because lawyers represented him, that's for sure. Valungu refused. Meanwhile, there was that eligibility case. So for me, that issue of not paying Mao Sampa, I realized this will cause problems. Anyway, the other issue was the eligibility. Eligibility case, when it came up, the way people handled it, I said, this case is not a case that you can win in court. This is a case that you can win politically. Can you engage politically? Look at how we can resolve this matter politically. People didn't listen. Makebi Zulu, like the way they are doing Pachitumbi, was so adamant that they can win the case in court. No, they can't. The judges cannot go back. No, they already made a ruling. Anyway, I left that. At the end of the day, look what happened. The eligibility case came and put a stamp, put a last nail in the coffin that Valungu cannot stand. But somehow people believed that Valungu is a miracle man. He's a miracle man. Like the way they are behaving at the moment. At the moment, it's like people are behaving like Valungu is a miracle man. He can rise from the dead. And even on that one, that's how the belief that you are seeing up, whereby people are behaving like Valungu will resurrect and turn around. And of course, even to those that say, no, he's not dead. Even if he's not dead, Valungu cannot come and re-enter our lives and do anything. He cannot. Even if he's alive, even if he's somewhere else and he's watching me, he cannot come and re-enter our lives. He can't. He can't re-enter our lives or influence our lives. Even if he is alive, he cannot re-enter our lives, and let alone a political life. How he can't? He can't. Anyway, people are excited. No, no, no. Even if they have declared him ineligible, he will stand. He will stand. I didn't see that happening. I didn't have that faith for me. So that is one of the things that pulled me. I'm giving you some of the things that pulled me out. First of all, the issues of resources, the issues of commitment, and being realistic. Being realistic. Now, now the court has ruled, and the more you are still insisting to say no, 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 you will stand. I was like, Nanguchisumino, how it for now. I and then so with that, then later on what came in also was Balungo's sickness. Balungo's sickness was gradually, becoming worse. And most of us who were around Balungu knew. And I said, that's it. You have eligibility case, you have your sicknesses, you have financial issues, you have strategy. It can't happen. It can't happen. And as a realistic person, I saw that we are not going anywhere. I saw that we are not going anywhere with Balungu. Now, I'm out here in exile and being assisted by the people around Edgar Lungu. I couldn't come out and start saying, I couldn't. But then again, I couldn't come out and start cheating people to say, yes, Balungu wake minina. At least, nalikuwa your conscience. I hope you are following my story. I didn't believe that it was not going anywhere. No. Realistically, from my personal point of view, I said, no, it can't work. It's not working. And yet, these people were pushing, no, it will work, it will work. What did I do? I said, I'll stop talking. And I deactivated my social media accounts to avoid this kind of situations whereby you open your cameras and you start talking. So I deactivated. If you remember, I did deactivate my social media accounts because I didn't believe that Balungu was going anywhere. And I was disappointed that he was failing to restore PF. I was hoping that he will, restore PF by coming up with, agreeing with Mao Sampa, restoring, leadership, but they couldn't do that. So I didn't agree and I pulled back. And I'm saying this, it's a reflection, end of year reflection, and how I have come where I am today, where I am. And eventually, Balungu died. I only switched on back my cameras when Balungu died. So we are talking about where I started my year. I was telling you that when I was making my resolutions for 2025, some of the resolutions to fight, to make sure that, we dislodge the UPND and President Hakainde Hichilema. But with these things happening, I realized that in the middle of the year, I was so demoralized and so disappointed. Balungu dies. Instead of these people doing the right thing, because let's face it, the death of Edgar Lungu would have revived PF. If you just want to look at things from a political point of view, the death of Edgar Lungu would have revived PF. It would have resuscitated PF. Because if those people had taken a different approach. An approach where they would have appealed to the Zambian people for sympathy. Sympathy in the right way, not sympathy of Edgar Lungu's story. Sympathy of, we have lost a leader. And we need to come together. The Edgar Lungu death provided an opportunity for the PF to reconverge. All of them, all those who had differences, Pachito Chakwa, Edgar Lungu, all of them, they would have come together. And if they had done it properly, they would have picked a successor. And that successor would have made a serious political impact. But what did they do? Immediately, Balungu Bafwa, first of all, they start hiding. They start hiding kwa Balungu na Bafwa. Somebody very close in the Lungu family, in the Lungu circles, informed me of the death. I started calling around the associates, other people, calling them, and they were refusing. So unfortunately, it's like this person was caught by emotions and quickly informed me, because this person is somebody that is close to me. We even used to chat, but he was one of those people that was around where Edgar Lungu. So this person just told me, Tafira Mfiko. I'm calling others, they're saying, no, out of it. Anyway. Uyu muntu uyu ekala na Balungu teti anje befya buloko londolo. Parasti no twala kutumina kasura. They called me later on to say iyi nankane no tatufile twaye babantu. Tientu isunge fye. Tientu sunge. Tuchite imbamu ichitumbi. Until after my elections, because tabalasala Balungu tabasalire leader. So first fyala lete finfulungani naingirira mo okay twala mva first mpitane bayiwena mwabene no nabafwa twala chita announce but tasira ewala chita announce imwe tasira chita announce mufurema eva government tell government not government tasira chita announce pitane Balungu bali bepaya bali bachita poison not no and people are telling me this to convince me that I go out and start talking about Lungu being poisoned. Lungu being poisoned. In infume, natural fatayari, infume ntampokulanda, yo Balungu now what's the poison? Kuli akainde ichiremo. When I know of how Balungu was deteriorating health-wise, therefore, my politics, I refused. But as I was whatever nakachindoko press conference Lusaka, so that was a turning point for me. I said, nangu twalipusana nangwe. Nangu, I am here out in exile. It is not fair that we should put a death of a man that we have known that this man has been ill to come and put it on somebody else for political reasons. No, I refused. I came out and I said, Balungu navafu, but I'm urging my brothers and sisters that we don't politicize this. I didn't blow them. I said, let us not politicize this. Let us, mourn as a country. Let us unite as a nation. That's what I said. That was my first statement. Kuisa. Parandela ndokona vamakepizulu navo vaingira. No, we have to tell the Edgar Lungu story. Hey. I said, no, I have to defend my country. I have to defend my country. I did not speak to anyone in UPND or whatever. I just said no. I was here. And I started phoning around to say, no, I don't believe this. And they made a mistake, big mistake. Big mistake. As I was trying to engage them, somebody come and tell me, say, you know what? If you don't go with our plans, we will cut the sponsorship. We will not give you finances. You'll be on your own. Ndala, I need to survive. I need this cup of tea. I need this bread. But please don't insult me by telling me that if you don't do this, I will not give you money. Apple, because you have made me cheap. I feel cheap. I feel like you're using me. I feel like you're taking me like a prostitute. That is where I blew. And worse off, the person that was telling me brought in by Esther Lungu. Ndala. Palakalile puka pali akalile puka. Epo nomba mwaishirimu nomba gun blazing. I just said no. To hell with you, Nendala Mashenu, Kamube. If I'm going to starve here or whatever, so be it. So be it. And that is my turning point. And I started, defending my country, basically. Later on, I saw Hakainde Hichilema's attitude. I was looking at Hakainde Hichilema's attitude. And his attitude was different. It was not what I expected. I'm telling you, if Hakainde Hichilema had taken a wrong step in the death of Edgar Lungu, I would have still been fighting him. But the man came out like a human being, like a leader. He sent Mlambo Aimbe to go there and negotiate. But there's some for to South Africa, kulife fimbi that baba tamsha bina Mlambo Aimbe. No. So, Hakainde Hichilema, those of you who may be wondering, some of you have been wondering, how did Tayari all of a sudden, why did you support Hakainde Hichilema? Why are you supporting Hakainde Hichilema? It is because at that moment, when I expected the Lungu associates to do the right thing, to lead the country into mourning and a state funeral, they chose to do politics. And they were willing to go all the way to an extent of even suggesting that they embalm the body for 2 years until after the elections. They were not stopping at anything. They started having press conferences in South Africa, demonizing our country. Whilst on the other hand, Hakainde Hichilema took a different attitude. He was a brother. It was like a brother has died. Let us mourn him. Mlambo Aimbe, go to South Africa, go and repatriate the body. And they go there, they chase them. These are the things that made me upset now. And that's how I looked at Hakainde Hichilema differently. From that day, I looked at Hakainde Hichilema differently. And I think the rest, how much I stood, what was my position, and where I stand even today. And I said it, that these people are doing politics. Even up to today, they're still doing Ichtumbi, Chava Lungu, They're using Chitumbi Chabalungu for politics. It's nothing else. It has got nothing to do with Edgar Lungu's wishes. It has got nothing to do with Edgar Lungu's wishes. It is all about politics. It is all about politics. Chitumbi Chabalungu has turned into political capital for some of these people, particularly Makebi Zulu. And yes, some of you have said, no, but don't talk about the widow. I know by Esther. She is very much part and parcel of this. But Esther is very shrewd, very shrewd. And I'm not talking from without. This is a person that I've sat with. This is the person that I've talked to. I know the mind of Esther. She is more lethal than you think. So all these is all about politics. I'm doing my personal reflection. So where I started fighting Hakainde Hichilema, midway this happened. From that time onwards, I've seen that Hakainde Hichilema has a different heart than, you know when you are fixed on somebody, when you want to see somebody in a certain light, you won't see the positive until, somehow something come off your face. That's when you see a person to say, no, this person is not as bad. This person is not as bad. This person is not as bad. But people before, when I was with them, they were busy every day feeding me with hate against this man. Every day, so that I'm every day upset with Hakainde Hichilema. But, taking a few steps backwards, I don't think it's that bad. I'm not saying it's perfect. No, I'm not. So I'm closing the year. I'm thinking, yeah, I have to support Hakainde Hichilema. But one of the challenges now that I have today as I'm sitting here is that I found myself now like in the middle. You see, I had the support of the Edgar Lungu associates. Now the Edgar Lungu associates have distanced themselves from me. And before, I was fighting Hakainde Hichilema. And the Hakainde Hichilema associates had distanced themselves from me. So today, much as I'm supporting Hakainde Hichilema, I have a situation where the Hakainde Hichilema associates don't trust me. They don't. They don't look at me as one of their own. They don't look at me as their friend. They don't. Meanwhile, the Lungu side, they're looking at me. This guy has left us. I don't think they call me a traitor, no. No, because we have gone through things and they know that the position that I've taken is true. So I don't think they call me a traitor. They're just upset with me that I'm not with them in these whole shenanigans. So I'm closing the year feeling very cold, feeling somewhat lonely, politically. And of course, I must say that, politics also affects your family. I had to stay without seeing my family, my wife and Kia, for more than a year. They only joined me recently. And this place is strange for them. This life is strange for them. you know, and what next? What next? What next? What next? You can imagine, how difficult that is. What next? Today, what next? What next? What next? How do I look towards next year? Of course, I would want to go back home. But go back home, what is there for me? What is there for me? What is there for me? I'm here. What is here for me? What next? Politics. Yadikawa. Yadikawa politics. Yadikawa. And of course, I've ended up here where I am because of politics. So sometimes, when there are politics, yadikawa. And it goes into many things. It goes into many things. It goes into many things. Even your financial position, your income. How do you live? You worry about your income. You worry about here. You have to pay rent. And in this situation, I can't work here. I can't do anything. I can't do business. So even that worries you. When you think about your family, it worries you. This is what politics can do. It can render you in such a situation, in a quagmire. And one would say, but you see, you would have lived your private life. All these things would have happened, wouldn't have happened. Yes, you wouldn't. But that ship is gone. That boat, that horse has already boated. I'm already here. I can't undo whatever it is. I can't. I'm already here. And whatever decision that I made it believing that it was the right decision. I made it believing that it was the right decision. And certain things have been wrong, certain things I was right. But it is just the nature of politics. So that is my reflection at the end of this year. So I'm closing the year on a very difficult note. Very, very difficult note. Very difficult note. Yeah, that's my story. That's my story. So that's why I'm failing to sleep. I'm supposed to be sleeping. It's 0 what now? 04:30. I can't sleep. Can I open phone lines? Does somebody want to say something to me? I didn't intend, to be online and whatever. But if I can't sleep, I might as well sit out here. Can I open phone lines? You know my number. You know the number that I usually use. You can call me. We can chat. We're chatting lightly. Just chatting lightly. End of the year. End of the year resolutions. It's important to make resolutions. It's important to take stock of where you are coming from. And no, it has been a rough year. It has been a rough year. But of course, there is something positive in the sense that much as those people that said, no, we will not sponsor you, whatever, somehow, without certainty or stability, somehow, I've managed. I'm still here. I even have my family here. I'm very grateful. I'm actually, I want to say very thank you to the people that helped me, to bring my family here. I'm very, very grateful. I'm grateful. I'm also very grateful to the people here, The people here, God has really been working through the people around here. My host, if I could just say it that way. My hosts have been very, very well. I think they have done their best to make me feel at home here, under the conditions of the countries, according to the rules of the country, because of course, countries make their rules, and those rules, they have to live by them, or those policies, they have to live by them. So if they have said no, people who are seeking asylum cannot work, I mean, you can't work. People who are seeking asylum cannot open businesses. You can't open businesses, much as they have welcomed you. They can't just make rules for you to change things for you. Yeah, but they have really been very, very kind, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Tayari want to know about the Iyoo saga. What happened? What do you mean, what happened? So the Iyoo saga really is that, in simple terms, is that the matter is still in court, and now it is going to the Supreme Court. That is the whole thing. There will be legal procedures here and there, but bottom line is that at first there's a ruling which said that the body of Edgar Lungu should be repatriated back to Zambia and buried in Zambia, whatever. But the family has appealed. Earlier on, the appeal was denied, but now it has been granted. So this matter will be heard in the Supreme Court. It will be heard in the Supreme Court, and it will be decided in the Supreme Court. It is as simple as that. And when it is decided in the Supreme Court, I think that will be the end. So now we just have to wait for the case to be heard in the Supreme Court. It is as simple as that. Precious.
Yes.
How? I'm fine.
You're fine.
Yeah.
I'm glad today you said the truth, okay?
Oh, so these are the days I lie.
Huh?
These are the days I lie. Anyway, what is the truth that I've said?
Well, today you said the truth today, and I'm so glad to tell the people the truth. But I want to assure you that under MZ, you are coming back. When you said I'm meeting you, for sure I'm meeting you. I want you to come back, and even me, I feel bad to see you the exam.
So what is the truth that I've said?
Don't worry. You will come back here.
Precious, what is the truth that I've said?
The truth about you went there in exile because of this girl. You are not there.
Hello, Precious. Anyway, that is Precious. One thing that I appreciate about Precious is that you know, she's very committed to my program. She always listens. She always calls in. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. We may not agree with each other, but I appreciate the fact that Precious is always following. I'm grateful. She says, today I've said the truth. Well, I don't know where I lie, but I think the biggest challenge that I have for me in politics is to be coherent, you know, to really say things the way I feel. That is the challenge that I have, because I don't want to speak from a political point of view, you know. But you don't believe, but you just say it. If you a problem na kwata. A problem na kwata. Hello?
Mr. Tayali, mwabombeni.
Yeah, mkwa mwabombeni nine.
Na iko panoro. No, but guys, you know, while you were talking about the funeral next year, Shala, I wanted to get your view because, you know, some people might be thinking, well, if this person is schizophrenia, like I got schizophrenia or instability in principle, this person defect, the Zambian people checked out the PS because they took the Zambian people for granted. And I remember, although I was not in Zambia, the former head of state, Balungu, because of, I think he realized how many hyenas he was surrounded by, those hypocrites. And then he was booed with a Kusu Stadium. And I think the PS, Katuishi, whatever they did to God, they have been punished severely. And he was quiet for almost 2 years. Who kept on poking Edgar Lungu and talking about the PS, even though the Zambian people defeated the PS through the ballot. But I remember for 2 years, Lungu was quiet until then Kwalati tempering the Patriotic Front Party, internal affairs, Shani. Then he said, look, these people have been taking my family, Kumakoti, Shani, Broccoli, Shani. And then they're trying to destroy the party that made me. So I've come back into active politics. I was there, I think in 2023, 28 October. Because when I talk of Zambia and I could Embassy Park and I talk of Monson President. I was there that day at Bawera politics. It was me, they come back. So what's your view on this? Why Balungu Tabara Keres that 2 years? You want to tell it for almost three years. The UPNG have been talking about the PF. Why not just forget about the PF? What's your view on this one?
My brother, you just used to visit, You just used to visit Zambia and go out. I was in Zambia, and these issues, they were not just issues that I was observing from afar. These issues, I was part of the players. I was part of the players in these issues. Number one, when you talk about Balungu very quiet, and yet the UPND were talking about him. I agree with you that where we started, Hakainde Ichilema, time and again, will take a jab on Edgar Lungu. But what was the biggest issue with Balungu was the prosecution of his family. That was the biggest issue. And if you remember, when Arabi died, Balungu was not quiet. Balungu took advantage of the spotlight to express his frustration, to say there is hypocrisy. One time, but behind you are doing this. And the response from the government at that moment, remember, when Arabi died, hakainde ichilima called by Edgar Lungu to inform him, the big man has died, can we mourn this man together? Okay? So, but instead of Balungu appreciating that, Balungu reacted to say, as much as there is this, but there is this hypocrisy because my family is being followed. From my perspective, I would say that Hakainde Hichilema did not victimize Balungu directly. No, he didn't. What was there was the family. Okay? Now, the issue of whether the following of the family was justified or not, that is another story. That is another story. But if it were me, I don't think I would have followed the Lungu family in the manner that the UPND did, if it were me. Then the other point which you have alluded to is the issue of PF. A number of times people have been saying UPND hijacked PF, UPND hijacked PF. But from my perspective, UPND did not hijack PF. It is PF themselves that sold out PF. PF members, they sold out. And Balungu is part of it. How is Balungu part of it? Balungu is part of it because he held on to the presidents of PF. He held on. They deliberately kept on postponing the convention. You know, like they are doing even now, they are postponing the convention. They don't want to go for a convention because they have not wanted to, give somebody that mantle, somebody to succeed Edgar Lungu, because all of them, they want it. It is the selfishness of the PF members that has killed PF. It is the selfishness of the PF members that has killed PF. It is like Tufirile Munsenga. It's like Tufirile Munsenga. So, from my perspective, my brother, I don't think I would say, Balungu came back into politics because of some of these issues. No. If Balungu didn't want to stay in politics, he would have given the leadership of PF to somebody else. So whatever excuses that you may want to give, I would not agree, because it is very simple. If Balungu didn't want to stay in politics, he would have simply given power to somebody else. Like at one point, I was campaigning for Munduvire. We campaigned for Munduvire. But they sidelined him. So that is my take. You use very big terms, because schizophrenia, No. Me, it's not that I forget. I don't forget things easily. And these things, I was part of them. I have details of some of these issues, So it is not that Balungu came back into power because of UPND. No. If Balungu didn't want to be in politics, he would have given back power. But he didn't. He held on to power. And he's still holding on to power, even in his death. Because up to today, we don't have a president for PF. Balubinda is not a president for PF. Balubinda is not a president for PF. So it's a selfishness of individuals in PF that has killed PF, and not UPND. Not UPND. I can speak all day and point to instances, because I was part of this. Sometimes I even had discussions at a very high level discussions, even with Balungu himself. I used to have those discussions. I used to tell Balungu, at least, in politely, I used to express myself politely. I told him before, if you want to be in power, go back and chair a central committee. Go back, just come back. Balungu refused. No, I'm not okay. I can't. I'm not coming back. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, since you don't want, can you help us identify a successor? No, you go out there and see who you think can succeed. I went out. The next day, I went to Kuli Balungu. I said, Mundubire, I'm seeing Mundubire can take over. Balungu responded with excitement. Yes, that is a name that I've also been thinking. Let's go with Mundubire. From that meeting, the following day, I went, started campaigning for Mundubire. Mundubire's name came up. Mundubire, what? The name came up. When Mundubire's name was reaching the peak, I was called back. No, this money, this money, this money, including by Esther Venao, including by Esther, contributing. Mundubire's name was withdrawn. Again, the Alewere agenda came back. So I wouldn't really say it's President Hakainde Hichilema or UPND. No, it is the selfishness of the PF. Even now, if you look at it, they don't want to go for a convention. And they don't care, because now what has happened is that all of them, they have identified political parties which they want to use. Makebi Zulu has identified a political party which he wants to use to contest as president. Nabambi, they have identified their political parties. They are not interested in PF. They are not interested in PF. And this is what happens when somebody creates something, suffers for it to bring it to where it is, and the others come in and they don't care. This is what is happening. People just don't care about PF. Satomwinewa ichulile PF aria, and the other shala, they don't care about PF. They don't. That's why they don't mind. For them, they're just choosing political parties where they are going to contest. And this, you will see next year. You will see them jumping on other political parties to contest. After Waonaola PF, they had an opportunity to salvage PF, but they're not interested. Even Mao Sampa, who is the cause of all this nonsense, he is also now claiming, to be PF and wanting to be the president. Chavinga is just a chancer. Chavinga, that's why I don't even bring Chavinga in my discussion. I don't, because Chavinga, the ball just landed on Chavinga, that's all. Chavinga was just there and the ball just landed in his hands, boom. And he has held on to it. That's why I don't even discuss Chavinga myself, because Chavinga didn't plan any of this nonsense. He didn't. Chavinga is just a chancer. Which is sad from the perspective that we are a plural democracy, because we need opposition. I'll be honest with you that I would be very happy, to be in opposition. It's not to say, I'm supporting Hakainde Hichilema so that I'm part of government. It is just that at the end of the day, things leaves you in this position where, the only party or the only person that is making sense is Hakainde Hichilema. So you just go, let's support this man anyway. Hello? Hello?
Good evening, Mr. Taras.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm okay, thanks.
Yes, Chris, today you have spoken very well from the beginning until the end. Yes, I agree with you on whatever you have said. But my biggest concern is about PF. Looking at how things stand right now, PF is gone. Did you watch Given yesterday? Is it not yesterday? Last week, if I'm not mistaken, it should be last week on Prime Television. Did you watch him? What he was saying?
What is your point? Hello? But today I've said the truth. I wonder what I've said differently today, which I have not spoken about in the past. I don't know. Because today even Precious agrees with me. I don't know what I've spoken differently. But yeah, politics. Politics, Teyabana. Because what have I done to myself? What have I done to myself? Hello?
Hello, I'm back. I think it's network. Yes, I was saying over the issue of TF, what you have said, that's the truth. I think the selfishness which is in TF has killed TF. Yes, the other people they can accuse that no, you paid.
I've lost him. Hello? 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 Hello?
Hello.
Yes. Good evening. Bueno, fam kwa mulishana.
Always show mtendea. Kuna zanukasha vile sana watu alisa. Kwa zinalishiwa kwa mwandasha kwamba kimse chimwani tampa kushako sana. Kama president mama hapo na ngira kabisa na hata abashaka edgari wenda mu president wale yegera ku ikinga wakanya nomba wala wako mfeti wa president she mali nenda tentonkana she she waranda tawan waji mpata koji chatera usapo ke issue ukushimashina yo zinde party UPNG na kuma friends wao na kuma ministers kwa kwa sababu ya direct kwa sababu Mr. President shikona sana mkwalanda na uruwa wa chakwetu so ili ne challenge kwa watu tu kile mko watu wala president abantu wao watu ekinga na munga mulera kama issue zangi leo ni chakwetu kumyewo mtontonkana kwa watu na batali bali watu wakina kumyewo ni batali shwangiro kurande obviously umuntu kayoke abebere eso bari china kwa kidogo kibarande kabiaji kwa watu kwa mtu yao kila kwata kile cha kentongana chapa tunana alikuwa mtu na president kina mwewa ndio kisha shanga na kuri mwewa liko pamoja mwewa shidi yao ile tutamwewa na ngapa lingine kwa mtu wa president kwa papa huyo mwashiro kukubewa ikifanya program ya PF kwa watu na taranda kali wa mausa mpo walishana neno kitueva kisha kike kwa ishira wa ndio mpaka kwa alicheza kuwalisha sakati hasa waisha kati mwana njao sio mwana sahihi sio tena wa mpamaisha yeye ni Mbappe au shinikiana wako sababu kisha tueleze kisha hii namba so confusion ndio kwa kuipa na mpango ndio kwa ndio mo confusion kwa jenga wale mka kufanya mwana mmoja wale mwoneka confused kwamba mwana ishirika murashobora n'imyaka ibashe kwa open tamuri kusaidi kuri government tamuri kusaidi kuri opposition mwaranda kufesha kwa pata kwa kwa mtu kwa kwa ukwiruka mu mano kwamba tabirenga iko turerenganya kiri bitwararenganya kiribuira bitwararenganya n'umuntu mwana ageni ngarorosha sana bataraji itarenga tisare kirubana muranda kwa bati nene opposition party sara kwa ta twete mutaro wala kwa makani kwa kwamba nene opposition party ngabaifa watayari mwajia kuma kuri which means governance y'ubuyino because check and balance aba chindira abantu tapaji kwamba kisha ngagenda nyuma kwa kuri watiana kwenye ile opposition hii ya sasa kwa mwana mlisaidi kuri wa roli mpai kwa ile ngara kwa mtu mbaki anda basi kira ndati wanda kwa tumajia ngara kwa mtu kwa leo mko mtioni ishije kusumpora na sumpora na wanga kwa mtu kwa point
so mwalishi ukulingana nefu mulelanda imwe nififya kwati umuntu ngana kwate chiri mumuto mumwakwe chirashupa ukumonako fimbi munshira imbi ngana upanga if your mind is made so imwe first of all mwaebati yo nishamonapo muntu alechita criticize baaka inde ichilema but ngamwaya pa social media imwe muri bapa social media imwe nibanga abantu abalesusula baaka inde ichilema nibanga abantu abalela nde fintu fimbi fishilingire nokulinga pali baaka inde vengi sana so ine mwampapusha pakulanda tiyo takuja abakanyako baaka inde ichilema okay nganifyo limbi tupilibire yo first njipushe yo loleleni bashikulu bantu njipushe limbi imwe landeni finishe fo mwingala fo kwa watu ba haka inde ichilema ba beba na ngutwa beba efe tatulanda finshi landeni pochimu ati ichi chilubo nomba tapaba ba beba po
ocho ngaranda ko number 1 kunuma na dimwe approach barata inde bambire pali pf na bisa mwana tuna approach bamba alenga na governance yabo ya rubanya bero funde wa iba kumupata tapale nitunga wa rishanya na hadi ngo tumba kwa mwana baranda kumuntu iko pale kwa shefu ntikwa after wachangwa bakashibashwa umukina alishaka nitikira sana na pangirira mwata madina alikote aspect ya kwamba na baraka inde na alibeba sawa baraka inde ndikumusha kama amaka ya president ababa kirangwa da mwalangika kwa ngo panoji pantoa kashipa kwa kadura nduku na panoji kurusero eno lochute for then too na mwalika ba kirangwa panoji then tunaitoa rangi wa wishanya ukumuna akashahadira kwa wati baraba takota baba rungu rungu baraba basina batakota baba kaindi baraba basina warungu ngabagwekeshana barakainde baranda kama ishi ya saba which means tapadu nda tayo warungu tapadu nda ta ete shire mu mana wangu kwa kanga kirango kuna kumutanishi kwa nini najita mono watu warungu hapa sio mwana tumtunga na tayo warungu kwa warungu kwa mkufo so after warungu basi walipatana kwa warungu yile ishia wa kirangani barakainde barabeshana na warungu bageni barungu bako so joli ni kisibire kwa kwasa maisha ya mwana kwa kwasa hapa inde wala wasana mpesi na familia yao ishi kwa wale kusana na vena na wafua so wasana ngeke nomba kwasi ba waseni break kwa sawa utabi pasana mwana ndio kwa mpesi na familia ndio kwa kwa kuna na dirisheni kubura mbisi nyeshe nangano mbaka twendere pamo kubabika nambokufanga irayi n'umushesheni baberere poste kati y'abarungu n'abafa ya kumukanyako amwalisha abaranda basirikati kubukingira munsi ero bakayinde y'abapresident bari mweka kuko buri muntu uri wonse nanguka buramo ofisha kumuntu no ku government ndiri ashiraka ukuta separati kuranda sepatao ne kuko buraba mbiku kukuyiringana napano ndera ndiri ashinga byano
so moneni bashikulu bantu mwalanda kuli ashidi abachilangwa chachine nga twamuno omuntu alelishika ngefya achitike pali bachilangwa uja kwati mwina mwabo afwa awo chila tuletera ubulanda bonse andi chine ngefefine mulande na imwe bene chali miletera ubulanda nomba amafunde ya chalo nayo yalinga okukonkwa mwamuna bachilangwa balikakwa pamilandu isho koti yasangiloko bati yo bali rufyanya kateka takwata ensambu iyakwimafye okabati yo iwe chirufya nomba twakwerera kabye kunganda iwe chilangwa fuma kateka takwata esho ensambu iyo takwata esho ensambu ndingachita kuti akwatira muno mulandu ngachakwati kateka aimafya ati yo uyu fuma kuti akwatira pono mulandu kuti akwatira pono mulandu kateka wine kwali baida yesu at prerogative of mercy yabakateka but even that prerogative of mercy tebakateka febeka wachita decide pandunga chabe fenga twasuminishe fe kateka kuti ambo kulafumya abanangwe ifofene kuwe bantu tukatampano kula ishana mwamona kateka oyu alefumya abantu alefumya abanangwe so pali bachilangwa teti mwebati yo akainde ichilima ubipiro mutima lifunde lyakaena. Then number 2 mwaelanda pali ba Edgar Lungu ukoba tiro ba Edgar Lungu balipo nga bali umfweni na ba akainde ichilima nombata ba umfweni ilio na chambo kulondolola pano nachipera po example yako bati ilio ba RB bafuire ba hakainde ichilima balimishe foni no kutumina balungu mune umukalambo Yesu nafwa tietulosheshe chapamo na chine balungu bali na kuchiriro after ichiriro balungu balandira chani balungu bayitire aba mubuteko ko bati abantu aba they are hypocrites mamona then palina fimbe efo limbite tindande pano but if you na ishiba poine ukwebati ba hakainde ichilema balefwaisha ukwebati balungu na ba hakainde ichilema bekale pamo abalekana ni ba Edgar Lungu ebalekana icho chinte chintu chakwati nale umfwafya vintu fimefya kwati na eneo ne bali ntumire puno kuntuma kabiye kalambe nabo balungu na beba balungu bakana balungu ebalekana na muri lero linene fine fya isa chitika mwalanda pachililo ilio balungu bafuire bakainde ichilema batumine minister wabo na bambipo kabiyeni muye mufishe ukulila kwandi nokobati mumone fotwala afwa ulupwalo wabalungu elwala kene abalu baliesha na government ukutampa ukufika na lelo government ya tentu imwe mwe tentu ikale pa motulande imwe mwe tentu ikale pa motulande but ulupwalo wabalungu elukana nokobati yo imwe mwe alichushishe Edgar Lungu nomba ngachakwati imwe kosho bati yo Edgar Lungu bali muchitrefya kuti taba muchitreat wino nga mwatimuloleshe ifi alechitika kuli bakainde ichimere tabala bakateka kuti mwaisa chita compare nefi achitika kuli balungu nakalia nangoke nangu chali chine fyali chitike fya ifyo bushe ukwerera ubukristiani bwesu nishibuli pesa nga mwaimina fati yoine panti mwalinkise chakuti yoine mwankise chakuti nishibukristiani bwesu buli pesa. So ine mukumona kwandi imwe mule mwene fintu kulubali lwenu ululi kuli kusaidi ku PF side, but I think inde imini na pakati because ukuli ifirubo fyaba akainde ichilema ine ndalanda pano pene pano ndalanda ifirubo fyaba Edgar Lungu ndalanda. So I think kuti mwamona bwino usheni pesa mushalileko.
Inaba sawaji kunga national committee ya kitaifa ya ile watu ndio wa government amangiro kukoa atangwa na wala bishop banda wonke bali terefanishi kwa wanapanga program kwa tangiro program pani bali tangiro kwa pesa kwa airport abada kutenga bode ikara kuchoma then the president wa one day akatande afango kumungush conference so mbara ya mtu abajitra sawa Afrika bakutana na mashini nombara waishira kuzamia ora watura kuliwa kateko kwa sababu tuachia iko isipoke wasikera ni bakateka tabaka ni kwa sababu ni isipoke simwasina au tashuwe mene eti muri umusango ni sabara wese sheshemo nando haranda performance bane ko na ko tuachumko anabonke ko ba chara wese kono kateka sana ko ba ko ne katino buri ko ba chibangira muteko ndajine nombale na ba ditere tonyoro ba ka chinga program wese ko ba chinga program wese ko no ko ba twote arai so zidi urabe na wanda ba chinga program wa mbaya katege kutimina ba fami akirato kwa duku mfano safi kuna kitu na kusikia vile ndio program hii tunayopo hii mambo fami yana tabia na kwa kama na mbalishi ya kitu cha program private kwa kwa yako namba jana hata family hata na kwa yako wakateka ndio wali sio wale kuli familia ile kwa kitu cha program hii wakateka na wanza wakateka chukuro shaka
nomba umfweni bashukuru bantu umfweni bashukuru bantu ifyo mwalondolola ukwe batukwali kuchinja program fyabufi ndemye bamuchishinka nechine ifyo fya kwa batu kuchinja program takwali fya kuchinja program takwali nifyo mwalanda tiyo kateka bamupera ti ukumone chitumbi ni pasande awe tafyali mu program ifyo ne nangufye kaidi ifo trafikonka na kuma court mwalichwanga bali wimulando wa kuma court so bali ile ku court na ba court bali bepwishe chinshi mwakanishe ukuya icho tamwailire chinshi mwakani nokuya ba court bali bepwishe and bulondolo shiwawo te uwo mwalondolo lapa iyo avene tebulondolo shwalipo ubulondolo shibala ndiro ko bati yo umusebo bali isala umusebo bali isala then kwali ko bati yo pali program pali ko bati yo haka inde ichilema akabane ichitumbi nga cha Afrika pakesa benchitaimo epo haka inde ichilema akabane ichitumbi nombe ife tafyali po mu program tafyali mu program umusebo kwisala dio baisiro umusebo kwati bawamye pantu mukala pita imyoto keshingi ne chitumbi chine chikala pita mulya ukufuma kuchifwema okuya kumulungusho ukufuma so bahebera ati umusebo tuwamye before chitumbi tachiraisa te musango wakwati yo pali fyalipo ero yo program ifo balanda ifo beba abantu ko bati yo pali program yali kwati akainde ichilema akabane chitumbi eka ife tafyali mu program nakalia tafyali mu ero mwaye bati yo ngabali bwekereko okuya bati balande na family ba government bali bwekereko instead itali abantu abengi bali yesha na uli former president wa ku Malawi former president wa ku Malawi nao ekwali na wasukana kaye batawe ine nanaka ili ashiri aba umo mutima pali ili ashi tekwati ndela ndokwati ndepokolola bahaka inde ichilema ifi fishinga ifi akobati na mapepala yakumakoti mukafisanga so ubwo bufi obwakobati yo government yalichinyishe program bufi ubwine echo nakukoti bafikanine balifira okulondolola echo nakukoti ba government bali winina omulandu kobati imwe mwabashire konka ni mwewo namukwato obwafya kabiyeni kashikeni efyo koti ya ruling but after ya ruling bali chita appeal appeal nomba ireisa mu Supreme Court ngatabalushira omulandu ifyo mwalondolola ngefo chali ngatabalushira omulandu ku South Africa nomba nicho tefo fyali echo balushira omulandu ku South Africa
nomba basari akamura ndio wambi ishatara nkofona mushukuru wa president basirayo na tao itomwendo mbura ina tinda kwa yoku ina rini na kwa mbonyo mubiri ina ishanyina
so mwamona imwe bashukuru bantu so umfweni bashukuru bantu mwamona imwe mulefu ailisho obubi mulesha awe umfweni awe mulefu ailisho oko mwambiro oku nimirondolera fyonse ndemirondolera but mwikalire fye nalandechi mwapindika po chimbi imwe namukwata ngefevi nachilanda pakwamba namukwata your mind is made mwaliba kusaidi uku mulefu amusange mobu muli yakainde ichilema na chine nga mulefu kusanga obu muli yakainde ichilema mukabusanga nangu muli inawe nenga mulefu kusanga mobuvi mukabusanga nangu muli imwe nenga ndefo kwati nsange mobuvi nkabusanga nombo muntu uwalungama bwino tafuire okubikirisha pafirubo fyabanankwe pantu wonse twatuli benakuluba bonse fye hakainde ichilema tetyapwiririke ene tetimpuiririke imwe tetimupwiririke baesta tetibapwiririke bonse twapwiririka nomanga twakoserera fyati iyo ngefi awe ni shitatuli bwino fwe bakwete obwafya nifwe tufire twachitanda stand fimwe fintu ifi twamina mate twaiweramu so imwe tata mulefwaya mupindika po fya mulandu pali yakainde anyway that is your position ine mkwa ipo na perera ni hapo pena
okay now for sayari bagino ndalanda abalala amasipeti auti mwonse officials mwonse batumine kwa kulia ngataka bati sabasondere bwino byashi nshibana bare no ya mwishija ishinaga yabatakika kama muntu uinga pataka sika pateka ngale sabina na ikogonje nishireka testi kanta mke hapo ndio kwa kika nkonje tureshe bana so dentro travelero ko bati ishina bure batika sika ishina iko turesungura pamuno so abantu babitamuona ngandi ngatakoba bati ikija kwa pateka tabeshi ishwale takisha takisa
chisuma mkwaina totel Hello?
Mwawombeni kuna 24 kunoka mwena Malaysia na ziravuwa ya mwalanda bwiko sana liru namu mwesha kone chiefu mwacharondora buli zingi numba njefuwa ya pali opointi ya chiranda wa shipu wa chiranda ku na ziravuwa kuchitako clarify le nokumbipusha kweche bantu mwachita defendu kwe batiyo ba opposition yoko bali abaliranda ulinga ba opposition mutu kwetera muwenze batari na muchishibetso tamuli po opposition ukwetera makanga yo mu kwetera mwacho kwecho so urama kebizuru wali mwishi bamwe bokukira okupona liponele kumalambo uwali minister ku
Eastern Province
afiru kuwina siti yako muntu otinyesa arandati aranda kwabantu sinofwiti so tatukwete opposition ingachita explain nangwe ngatikawo fama checks and balances ngawe mumuishizi imwe mwalisho kurondora efintu kai mwalisho nokuchinja olulimi yefinga bapolitician so cho bala bashiko bachirira kuli yadimwali tulandirako natifungana mbona kufungana fule bantu so so nachera mpira mwachibwekera babiri tu mwachisa ndo kwe bati fintu nchefo mwana government nchefo tayiticha eso nchirandako bafama mwalisho baita bafura batahasi baita mwaleta potopiki hapa yo banki eirenga banki yararenga shani banki kuti yarenga shani wafanga banki kupoke ndama so ukulinga na vantu vashukuru vachiranda mvuye mwaimina sepakati ukuwafuwa kwa vantu mwasikawofa kulimona masoro nayo program zimuvika kwa yasoma sana limukuti muleva kana vantu mwaleta program mwale vantu tumeni muchite offer solution kuli problem not imwe muchitena offer imwe mwatacustomerize parasi na kai vengi vakutika kuli ama program zava kuteko vengi varakutika kuti vasitako vafiwonshako ina nalitondongenye pulati ngapanye problem yavafama ivambire kutika kompleni kwevati niva banki ina linalikenayo kusira chavo vafama kwali vako program yomwaishile ya social cash transfer. Social cash transfer varapera vantu ndakaipama Airtel money vavapera napama banki like va FNB kula kurufanyama varapera pa nikubanki vaforera vafama evanani va social cash transfer. Now if you look at the agement yairenti vapera ku social cash transfer, people they are even more than 80 years, they are even more than 90 years. Those people manage to get money through the mobile, even through the bank, meaning through the money is being deposited in their account. What about a peasant farmer? What about a farmer who is even educated, is even able to redeem a visit? Why can't they instruct these people to have their own accounts from the banks which they want? So when they sell next FRA, they will just submit their accounts. The FRA will just deposit like the salaries. So that people, they can go and withdraw wherever they want. No farmer going to money fit what you mean such innovative ideas. Why can't 54 years independence when people they are moving with 50 receipts? I was even telling one of the bank managers that it can even also be part of bank promoting. Because you have a lot of customers and those farmers, it is not yet wrong that you must with going to how? Because we didn't get Shamatava 100 pins. Then there are some 70 pins, 50 pins who will remain in the account, which you can even use for another time. So, tundi tumoto natural focus for pale basho sabachirisha nyati utamwini pakati mwini umarasti so mwe mfire mwafu echaro ngabishine shintu mwale twafu kunomba ni choferia mwali ni sana kuli political party yenu ekontu mwaru so apakutina temwa mwawafe pakati mwachitako offer amata keshenzi alezera pakati.
So bashukuru bantu nawo mfwefyo mwalanda bwino sana ero nalatampira kuli line lyashi mwasharikishako lyabafama ili ashi lyabafama tekoba tinalililekeresha ndalandapo ubwafya bwapo bati limbi ubushiku nalanda pa chintu imweta mumfwireko nishwe bati yo tayari tawalandapo mwamona but not umukumo mikwingi nalilanda pupeli ashi lyabafama pano ndalileta ndalanda pweli ashi lyabafama ndalanda pamoja ashi pusana so basically just to say, I mean, I've spoken about the issues of the farmers. I've spoken about it here. Then the other point that you raised, you are saying that I'm not objective. I'm not objective huyo ndalemena kulu bali chishinka ubwafya bwa politics efo yaba. Unfortunately sometimes ngoli kuside huku chirashupa sana sometimes to be. I'm being very honest, to bring out some of these issues. But take over to we care if you talk to people. So like at the moment, certain issues, I may not bring them here, but in them Kutina, I can even produce evidence that there are a number of issues that I forward to the people that are in government. There are a number of issues that I bring to the people in government. So it's just that sometimes you change the way. Instead ya kusha mkulanda pamulavasa, sometimes ngani minister wa mtumina fefoni mune kulisha ili ashiria so chirishani, some of the things they will work on them, some of the things they don't work on them. But yes, it is difficult when you have taken a side, and like in this instance, I'm being very honest, I've taken a side, and the side that I've taken is to support Hakainde Ichidem. Is to support Hakainde Ichidem. Of course, there are issues that the government is not perfect that I need to talk about, but of course I will do them differently. But I can assure you that I will try, to speak for the people, even getting close to the government of Hakainde Ichidem, even to Hakainde Ichidem. It is not for me, just for me to be okay, but it is to help people. That is my desire. That is my desire. Hello?
Yeah, so what do I kutoka network
Yo, I think I was just responding to your issues. Nachileva nati. Ili achilaba FRA ndalandapo ni chifie. Limbiu inshi kunala ndilepo. Tamwa umfuileko but nalilandapo. Fona chileva.
Nga issue ya salary increment. Yama civil servant.
Aha. Issue ya civil servant salary increment ile isa muma inbox yandi. But it is irresponsible. Temu politician bwine wakafati yo pantu banda abantu bale for salary increment. Abantu bale for salary increment throughout the year. They want salary increment.
Every year
so umfo enkaidi bashikuru bantu. Abantu bale for salary not even before you talk about the law. No. Moneni. Bushe muletari koko bati abantu bala for ama salary increment chira bushiko. Muletari, are you disputing? No. But are you before you even talk about the law? Don't you agree with me that people, any person who works, want a salary increment? Don't you agree with me?
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's true. They do. Now, of course, when we come to the law that every year there is a salary increment. Now, it is irresponsible of a politician ukuisa 30 yo pantu lefo abantu bomfa tulelanda na government. Yeah, it's then increase ama salaries. You must be careful. What must you be thinking of? You must be careful in the sense that you might be talking about ama salary increment and yet your government is bankrupt. So before you start talking about advocating for salary increment to the people, making political mileage, abantu bomfe bwinati yo tayari alelanda electorandirako. Ufide watekanya bushe ubuteko bwenu buli pesa in terms of indalama bakweti bushe buli pesa so that ili olelanda you can even make a suggestion to say awo bane nanguna chishupa kanchi bapeni ko fena ngunika 500 babikeni ko fena ngunika 300 mwamona nishina kwata information. So I don't have good information on financial issues with the government. And I don't think it would be right for me, when I don't have good information, to come here and start talking about an issue. I don't think it is good for me. So I don't have good information really as regard to that. That's why I'm not talking about it. But if a farmer, I've been talking about it. Farmer salary increment, I've not spoken about it because I need to understand the government fiscal policy Where are we? What is the government plans before I come here and start talking?
Okay. So, aboye ni jomo understand what tayari hapo mwalondolo vivyo. Naomba ni issue mwamungu kumfika kwa you are just now driving the agenda of the government. Kai gisho chaba kwa hivi omuntu ngataraupa mwachimona te. Kuti amba vyokulanda inenga na upatukaraji wano bwali. But the moment it gets there, but this is not the way they're supposed to. They are supposed to be positioned. That person now become in a bullying. So me, I want to understand the term opposition because even TF before they were opposing everything one was doing. So even while PNG, when TF was bringing, they were opposing everything. You can even hear some political statements they were making, not the way they were.
It's true.
They knew the way it was.
It's true. At Bakawesho bunga pa 50 kwacha.
So when they went there, that's when they saw that now they see that things is the way they wake up. So now they started speaking in a proper way. So that I was Kuranda number. You are supporting government today, but you are running a political party called the EPP. So if I was more to so one for you. So we want you to speak more like your opposition. If you feel to be more Mr. Tayari, you should just be frank with the government if you are working with them. You tell them that these are the things which made your friends to go. Like, do you remember the increment the PF gave civil servants in 2021?
Number umfweni. Listen. First of all, you are talking about no, nalami asuka. Even mwai pusha. There is what we may call, political zealousness, where you just want to be a popularist. You can choose to be that politician. You can choose to be that politician. If you want, you can choose to be that politician.
And those are the things the people like.
Umfweni bashikulu bantu. No, listen. Yes, umfweni bashikulu bantu. You are right. That is a choice that you make as a politician. Imwenga mlefo kuba politician and mwalishi bati ngolela definitively negative if you want to batemwa. You can be a politician and speak like that. But from my perspective, inetema politics, temu politician indefo kuba. So inebu politician uwo. Aho inena alibukana. Politician bwa kulanda ukoba bantu bonfo bwino. Inebu politician na alibukana. Telelo noko nafuma konsoku ndabukana. Politician wakati ndande bate bantu bari kumfwa analibukana because it's not responsible and it does not take anywhere. For example, you spoke about the PF ama increment. But PF they increase salaries yama civil servants to 300%. 300% they increased because that is what Basata was promising when he was in opposition, more money in the pockets. Now that more money in the pockets, where did it lead us to? It led us to Nkongole. Where we are now, not to kwate Nkongole mchalo, and abamu abantu banokonde na ubuteko Nkongole tukwete. Some of these, it is because we wanted to spend more than what we have. We wanted to spend more than that is what the PF were known about. But PF, they spent more money, but in the Lamesho Valley now, Shadi Shankongole. So you can choose if you want to spend more than what you have, and then your country will not go forward. The country will have problems like the problems that we have, such as debt defaulting. I don't think that is responsible. In a Iyobo politician, awe nalibukana. Hello? So you see, that is a palande, but I'm a politics. Yadi kawa, yadi shupa. Hello?
Hello? What's another?
Mkwashani.
Awe. Nanathendandepo. First of all, I think that's for kind of party politics that kuba more position kula chikafe oppose. But always in stock of kutulefuma. Politics had changed a number. Nangu tutile fe the way information is disseminated. Tuliakale nangu ayakulali walanda there was not much accountability yakulanda at all. Walanda ni finshi and everything like that. But as you see now, information is really at the fingertips of people. You know, now we can church together. They don't have to wait for the ZNBC crew vehicle or something like that. News is just flashed there and then. You know, and especially if you have serious political aspirations, you have to be weighed in terms of how you conduct yourself. Because some of those things, if you take a good in there,
Yes.
you know, where now people are coming back to say that you feel very random, and if you've noticed now, he's really tamed himself because he knows that if let Mamkano, it's very easy for it to come back. So that phase of politics is way gone, yeah, the change. And people need to adapt to that, to say, Nangu, if you look at the way people are now weighing the it's even the people who are saying that, UPND is likely to win, it's not because they have forgotten what they said. They are clearly assessing now to say that you know, how attainable is it or something like that. So people are not stupid to just say that, I don't know, you know, over a decade ago, times have changed. And then the other thing is you know, PS and everything like that. I think that the challenge we have with the relationship between the PS and the UPND is that PS that accept that quite so take over. But I'm not position, but carry out what you actually and even the one pants, could work with ways a pants. Mama to say, okay, how do we leverage the issue that we have now? In I haven't heard of a situation where a PS or that way, if actually in the not food, not transport, you know, how are we moving forward? But whenever they forward, we would take up be a good idea. You know, it doesn't make sense. Mama, all their language, quite a challenge. I'd say that we have a technical committee, SHS appoint technical committee. By under that way, compromise. Whichever the folks institute technical committee, now, so. Accept that okay. If I start today take no, Mama, but Nangu, it needs a child perfect. The Tulande sana padi umuntu Mama, but Nangu never that you know, figure out and the quality punch for punch. They get punch for punch. Mama, so
it's in Tina Shiria.
It's not in Mama. So at some point, people really need to just take responsibility. That okay, we share how do we want to move forward. EPF and that okay, PF Barish. I'm waiting for the day now Samba will come up and say that actually in what it's transfer in that okay, Mama, because the Tvalanda is telling the very Mr. but now it's we need to understand to say, Mama is the only one who can really explain to us to say, we should just take a shine, Mama. So it's only that with PF variables have different fronts. Abantu kubalandi lapho. Kwathi njengoba kumele wathi mase that ngoba kuyiTali namsathi ilumbula. That twali ngishade ali bayingiya kuliba PF. So ndavalela ndavale fokumanika kwathi bali neutral. But bali kwathi hidden agendas. And people know those tricks now, and those times are really gone. It's unfortunate that maybe we are now gravitating to a lesser evil. Not necessarily that we have the best government, but it's a lesser evil in this case. And as soon as the opposition can get their act together, then people can actually be given an opportunity to check and be able to choose formidable leaders.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. Interestingly, I didn't intend to stay this long, but You know, here we are. And one of the callers was saying that sometimes you just open phone lines and let people give solutions. That also I do actually. I also do that. Sometimes I just open phone lines and I let people express themselves. I try. Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. You're still live?
Yes, I'm live. Precious, right?
Yes. I wanted to respond to that man who was saying that the Maccabi, he can't stand because he lost. Losing is not a problem. Even that guy, the Chilema, when he came in power, before he came in power, he lost a many times. But today is the president. So if he's talking something, it's better he just talk about the thing that he knows that it can help the nation, not now to start doing dirty politics. That is dirty politics. Even yourself, if you want to contest, people cannot start judging you to say because last time he was not chosen there. You saw that video that where he was fighting with Rais. People cannot start politicizing at no, they failed even to pick you as a mayor or whatever. They can't do that. If a person wants to contest, you can contest. If people they want the person, they can still vote for the person. But when we became the president, even when he was not in politics for a long time,
Wait.
he just came one
Precious.
time and he became the president.
Wait, Precious.
Yes,
Precious.
yes.
That caller, I agree with him and I share his views. And our view on Makebi losing is that Makebi Zulu was the incumbent in that constituency. He was the incumbent. And he was not just a member of parliament for Malambo constituency, he was also a minister in the province where the constituency is. So it is different when you talk about Hakainde Hichilema losing and Makebi Zulu losing. The HH, he was being rejected. He was never a president. Unless if he loses 2026, then we will say he's a failure. He was there, but then he failed. So we talk about Makebi losing as a failure because he was there and he was rejected, meaning he failed.
No, it was not a failure. When you lose,
He was.
it's not like you are a failure.
Then, otherwise, people would vote for you.
Failure. We have seen people.
Why would people check you out?
Especially if someone is an MP.
He was even a minister. He was not just He was not just an MP. He was also a minister. He failed. He was checked. Given Lubinda, Given Lubinda stood in Kawata 4 times. He was being re-elected. He was not even a minister. The first 2 terms.
Yeah, but for now, God is going to show him that no one can judge someone. You can't judge a book by its cover.
No, we are judging him based on that.
It is the Makebi Zulu.
Okay, that's fair enough.
And the same Makebi Zulu.
That's fair enough. But for us, we speak from what we know, what was there. The man was an incumbent. Anyway, Shivoxa Sanama politics, I don't want to get charged. In and some kuchitafe share my end of year reflection, where I started and where I am today. And I'm saying, what next? 2026, how will it be? And that is a very difficult question that I have, that I need to respond to. A very, very difficult question, because I'm in a very difficult situation. Hello?
Good evening.
Hello?
Good evening, my brother.
Good evening.
Yeah. How was your day?
Okay.
Okay. Your brother is back here. I don't know how is the cocktail for these big ones? How are they doing?
What?
The cocktail of I'll call it the bunch and cocktail of mocktails of food that are failing to reason on one thing. Okay, let me make my point. Yeah, I think adding on what I've noticed from Makebi, Rovinda combined, actually, what I would say is that this will be their downfall. That's when they actually it will be the end of their political career, if at all they had one. Why? They are not going with the atmosphere and what is on the ground. Let's talk about the policies and putting politics aside. HH is doing better than the rest. Look at the policies that he has put in place. We've been voting for these political parties. We have not been political, but we are now analyzing things based on factual and things that are on the ground. Look at the policies that he has put on the mining sector. It was just pante, jerabos here, illegal mining here and there. But the moment they've put an order to it, the Zambia army now they are in charge. There is no illegalities throughout the country. When you go to these villages and rural areas, actually the Zambia army, they are also part of this working, making sure that there is law and order, telling people, advising people to form cooperatives and work. That's how it's
Hello, my brother.
But for a normal person,
My brother. I think let me end here. Because the issues that you're also bringing, I may not be able to verify. I wonder what you're talking about. I think let's leave it there for tonight. Let's leave it there for tonight before we mislead people. I don't know. I just feel anyway. Like I said, I was looking at, just reflecting on how the year has been and what will happen next year. I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for those of you who have heard me rambling about myself and other issues and blah, blah. Thank you very much. And for your cause, I appreciate. Tomorrow is Christmas. I'll be at church. I don't think I'll be able to talk, but I will inform you tomorrow. Thank you very much. May God bless you, and may God bless Zambia. Good night.